Well, home cooking seemed to be what the doctor ordered in game one of this homestand. It worked out well for the Rockies as they won 2-1. Tonight they continue their three-game series against the New York Mets, looking for a win and trying to take the series. Welcome inside Coors Field. Tom Elmer alongside Tracy Ringlesby and Mark Stout. The starting rotation for the Rockies moving forward has been jumbled a little bit by Jim Tracy. Clayton Mortensen was going to start on Friday, so that has been changed. Here's how it'll look starting with the San Diego Padres series this weekend. It will be De La Rosa, then Chacin, Hamill, Ubaldo Jimenez gets the start in game one against the Giants, and then Clayton Mortensen will get his start. So
I bet the Giants are excited about that. What, 14 innings? Probably 12 innings against him. He's given up 2 runs, 1 earned, and shouldn't have given up any.
Yeah, and Clayton Mortensen now is a guy that you could use right now in the pen if you need to, in the meantime, if you need some long relief.
Well, the other thing it does, it helps keep everybody else on a regular turn. It helps to try to keep things moving forward. And with the way their pitching staff's been pitching, you don't want to disrupt those guys any more than you have to. The rotation has done everything it can to make this team a winning team.
Exactly. Regardless of the 5th starter, this is one of the top starting staffs in all of baseball. They have 15 of the 19 wins. Hitters are hitting .231 off of the starters and an ERA of 3.72. You can't ask much more. And 10 quality starts in the last 11 outings, that's getting it done on the hill.
Well, the Rockies got the victory last night. When we come back, we're going to talk about the guy that's going to try and get them their 2nd consecutive win as they try and get that momentum going forward again. Jason Hamill. That's next here on Root Sports. Dugout trying to pick up his first career win against the New York Mets. He's 0-2 lifetime against them with a 6.91 ERA. Will tonight be the night? He's certainly an improved pitcher, which is something Jim Tracy talked about earlier.
He would leave a game that was still hanging in the balance. and he would end up no decisioning those games. What we're seeing more of, like you're suggesting this year, is his goal when he walks out there to pitch is to try to pitch us right to the back end of the bullpen. And if he wants to do that every fifth day, I'm perfectly fine with that. I can promise you that.
And, Mark, that seems to be the pattern for Jason Hamill.
That's what he did against Arizona last week. Had his best inning in the 7th inning. This guy's no longer under the radar. His ERA of 2.63, that would be 10th in the National League. 10 wins the last couple of years. They think he can get to 15, Cowboy.
And really, you know, it reminds me of talking to Randy Johnson when he went to San Francisco. He said he helped each of the pitchers there. I go, what'd you tell Matt Cain? I told Matt Cain, quit worrying about being a hard luck pitcher. You want to be a winner? You pitch 7 innings. Because in the 6th and 7th inning, you come out of the game, you don't have the best relievers in there to save everything for you. You get through 7 innings, and now the manager's got the guys he wants to get the final 6 outs. That's how you learn how to win games. That's what Hamill's trying to do now.
Well, you saw in the video there, he gave up the home run to Andrew McCutchen. That's the last run he's given up. He's been scoreless since that point. Can he keep it going today? We're about to find out. When we come back, we'll get you upstairs with Drew and Jeff. It's time for Rockies baseball as they tangle with the Mets right here on Root Sports.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Ford Explorer, 2011 North American Truck of the Year. Ford Explorer, drive one. By the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats at no blackout days. Jason Hamill is in a very good place, and he jogs out to the mound. He'll lead the Rockies tonight as they try to make it 6 straight against the New York Mets this year, Jeff Houston.
Well, and the good thing about it, although last night's ball game you only got 5 hits, you came out with the W. They needed that in a big sort of way. The starting pitching has just been phenomenal all year long, and especially Jason Hamill's going out there tonight. One of these nights, I guarantee it, one of these nights the offense will explode.
Well, again, the good thing is last night only 5 hits, but it ended up in a victory, a 2-1 victory for the Rockies. Now, the Mets haven't hit that well either this year. Jose Reyes will lead things off. One of the keys to the victory last night, Reyes kept off the base paths. He was 0 for 5. The lineup very similar to last night for Terry Collins. Brought to you by Southwest.com. Daniel Murphy again at second base. David Wright, Carlos Beltran, Ike Davis, Jason Bay. Ronnie Paulino's in there behind the plate since he has come off the disabled list. As you can see with a .474 average, he has swung the bat well. Jason Prides at center field, and then the former Wichita State Shocker, Mike Pelfrey. So Jose Reyes, the switch hitter, will step in. Jason Hamill, as you learned during the pregame show, has a scoreless stretch going of 13 straight innings. Given up just a couple of runs in his last 20 2/3. And that pitch is in there for a strike at 92. Starting to get a little overcast here. It's a pleasant evening. Weather tomorrow could be a little sketchy. This is line to left, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. The Rockies fortunate last night they kept Reyes off the base paths, and then he opens this Tuesday night affair with a double.
Well, the last 2 starts for Jason Hamill has been as good as you can possibly have, and especially on Thursday. Had some trouble in the 6th inning, but Jim Tracy said, now's your time to go out there and show me what you have. And the 7th inning was probably the best inning he's had in a long time. And you can go back even another start prior to that. His last 3, he's 2-0 with an ERA of .87.
And a ground ball that's going to have eyes. It's going to get through. Reyes had to see it through the infield, so he'll stop at third. And the Mets have an immediate threat. First and third, nobody out, with David Wright coming up. Defensively, same as last night, all across. Gonzalez, Fowler, and Smith in the outfield. Stewart, Tulowitzki, Herrera, Helton in the infield. And Chris Iannetta, the star of last night's game, behind the plate. Well, now it's about limiting damage. It'd be virtually impossible to keep Reyes from scoring unless you start punching guys out.
Well, this early in the ball game, you'll gladly trade a run for a double play. So don't worry about Reyes as much unless it's hit right at you if you're Ian Stewart or maybe a Todd Helton. But turn 2, just limit him to 1 run.
Now, David Wright has struggled so far this year as runners on. He's hitting just 193, which is very unlike the perennial all-star.
Just follows the theme of their whole ball club, though.
Yeah, and it follows the theme of what we've talked about with the 2 big offensive stars for the Rockies, Tulowitzki and Gonzalez. At the end of the year, they'll have their numbers. David Wright will have his numbers at the end of the year.
Bubblegum cards don't lie.
Rarely. 0-1, and that is lifted foul and out of play.
Well, the Mets this month of May, 143 with runners in scoring position, including 0 for 7 last night. Now you have a chance to strike David Wright out. You have him down in the count, 0-2.
And David Wright does strike out a fair amount. He got him. Great pitch. And Wright, frustrated, will walk off. That's out number 1. And that'll bring up Carlos Beltran.
Just the ability to get ahead in the count expands the strike zone so much that it allows you as a pitcher to throw a pitch that looks like a strike coming out of the hand, but then is buried into the dirt.
That looked like a right-handed version of what Carlos Gonzalez has gone through a good portion this year.
Sure.
You know, seeing the ball right out of the hand and swinging at as hitters would say, swinging at it out of the hand.
And we call that too, just if you see the rosin bag going up there, you'd probably swing at it.
Beltran at 289. 5 home runs. He's driven in 18. He doesn't run like he used to, so if he hits one on the ground, you have a chance to turn a double play over. Now, 5-6 years ago, you wouldn't have said that.
No, and especially from the left side, but he has grounded into 3 double plays. Make sure you keep the ball down into the zone to give yourself that opportunity.
Beltran hitting 371 at Citi Field. Just 192 out on the road. That's kind of a trend with the Mets. They've hit much better in their home ballpark. And ordinarily, you say, of course, you're going to hit better at home, but Citi Field is a difficult place to hit.
Plays with your mind, so that's an interesting stat for that reason.
Shows him a fastball up and in. 2-1.
Jonathan at second base, Jonathan Herrera, is really pulled over onto the pull side towards first more. And it tells you they're going to try to pitch him so he get him to roll over and keep it from going into right field.
Hamill was unsure. 2-1 count. If maybe Terry Collins would put Murphy in motion.
Well, with the left-hander hitting, it's difficult for the catcher. You have to rely on your infielders. You've got speed over at third base. You're having trouble scoring runs. Why not?
Not going. And it misses. 3-1.
I might see the old third to first just to see what might happen with Daniel Murphy at first base with Ike Davis on deck.
He goes to the plate, no movement. It's ball 4. Now they're loaded for Ike Davis. And Davis has been the most productive offensive player in the middle of the lineup for the Mets all year. In fact, if there was an offensive team MVP, it'd be between Davis and Reyes.
Well, 20 RBIs in the month of April, 23 on the season. What he's been able to do against right-handed pitching this year to a tune of a .367 average.
One out. And the base is full of Mets just underway at Coors Field. Mike Davis 2 for 4 last night. In fact, at one point in the middle of the game, he had the only 2 hits for the Mets.
You got to stay away from anything on the inside third part of the plate. Really looking to turn.
He didn't offer at it. It's high, 2-0. In fact, he had the only 2 hits off of Chacín. Chacín went 6 innings. Reyes doubled. He is at third. Murphy bounced one through the left side. He's now at second. Carlos Beltran just walked. Mike Davis on a former big league pitcher, Ron Davis. And that's a strike. I thought it was in.
Yeah, it might have been in off the plate a little bit. But Chris held it long enough for Mike Everett to get that extra half-second look at it.
And that's going to get through a base hit. Murphy's going to come around and score. And Fowler overruns it. Davis will stop at first. Going first to third is Beltran. It's 2-0 New York. So Ike Davis continues to come through for the Mets. He has 25 RBIs. He had 20 in the month of April.
Jason fell behind 2-1. Fastball just center cut right down the middle. Boy, nice swing from Ike Davis, driving off that back foot, head still. No doubt about that one. Easy couple runs to drive in with Reyes and Daniel Murphy.
Well, Jason Hamill came in, scoreless streak of 13 innings, and he didn't extend it at all. He's allowed 2 here in the first. He's not out of the woods yet. Just 1 out. Runners at first and third. Jason Bea.
See what happened to Dexter when he goes for this ball. It just doesn't quite get that glove down, and it's back behind his head too much instead of having the glove out in front of him. There wasn't an error on that play for Dexter because the runner at first, that was Carlos Beltran, was going to third anyway, and Ike Davis stayed at first.
It's chopped foul. Bay's hitting just 179 on the road. The Mets have done well in the first inning. In fact, 8 of the last 12 ball games they've scored first. Maybe this will follow the trend that the Rockies set in New York against the Mets, where they fell behind by 2 runs in each of the 4 games there and won all 4.
Pretty good outcome. You don't like to write that script too often. Five 5-0 this year against the Mets.
2-2. Windshield damage. Call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com.
He's able to get the strikeout with David Wright on the slider down and away.
He didn't get on top of that. It's 3-2.
Just leaving that arm behind a little bit, not finishing out in front on that last pitch.
He got him. Strike 3 on Bay. And Jason Bay's struggles continue. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Ronnie Paulino.
Well, you could call this one either way. You could call it on the swing or on the pitch.
Ronnie Paulino played for the Pirates when Jim Tracy was managing the Pirates. Jim Tracy has nothing but glowing things to say about Paulino. Pretty good backstop, and if you throw the ball in the wrong section of the plate, he can hit it hard.
You know, he reminds me of Henry Blanco in that regard.
Fair.
Yeah, Henry Blanco is not a guy that overpowers you, but if you throw it in that one area, he can hit it a country mile.
Ball and a strike. That was a miss by Hamill. That's where Ionetta set up.
And Chris was set up down and away, and that one was up and in. Caught the 4th strike zone, but you need to make sure you iron out those mechanical flaws that you have going on right now after this half inning.
And again, that's not where you want to work Paulino. Paulino's dangerous on that inner half.
And up.
You want to get the ball away from him, you know, down and away. He crowds the plate. I mean, look where his back foot is, his right foot. It's in that, almost in the right corner of the box that both lines intersect.
When a guy crowds the plate, he wants that ball inside, trying to hook everything.
Strike 3. Paulino gets locked up. The Mets come up with a pair of runs in the first. Reyes doubled, Murphy singled. They would both come around. On the Rockies looking to counterpunch against Mike Pelfrey, who lifetime's 5-2 with a 291 against the Rockies. Dexter Fowler, as we've all come to expect, will lead things off. 33 ball games. Dex hitting .262, and the all-important on-base percentage is .382. He'll be followed in the Southwest batting order, as written out by Jim Tracy, by Jonathan Herrera, then Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki. Todd Helton has gorgeous numbers against Pelfrey, 6 for 10 with a home run, 5 RBIs lifetime. Seth Smith, Chris Iannetta, Ian Stewart, and Jason Hamill. The big right-hander, Mike Pelfrey, ready to go. He's a sinker baller.
At 6'7", tried to get the ball down into the zone. 307 average. Lefties are hitting 325 off him. Righty's 284.
And another strike.
In this last outing, Pelfrey against San Francisco threw 116 pitches. Went back and charted those. 80 of them were fastballs.
Strike 3. Dexter never swung the bat. That ended quickly. One out. That'll bring up Johnny Herrera.
Ball that looked like it was going to work out of the zone. Caught the corner. Change up. Strike 3.
Mets have Bay, Friday, and Beltran in the outfield. David Wright, Jose Reyes left side. Daniel Murphy, Ike Davis on the right side. And Paulino's doing the catching. Outside on Johnny Herrera. Rockies 8-6 in their home ballpark. And they're in the midst of a stretch where they're going to play 15 of 20 at home. Trying to get healthy. The weather's obviously much better, much warmer, more conducive to hitting. And this is a bouncer to Murphy. 2 outs. Who wants tacos? Everybody wants tacos. The manager wants tacos because it means the Rockies have scored 7 runs in a ball game. And when they do, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Tacos special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Rockies limited to 2 runs last night, but it was enough to get a victory. Just the second time this year that they've won a game where they've scored 3 runs or less. And this year when they score 4 or more in a game, and 4 is not a huge number, as we all know. It's a decent number. The Rockies are 15-2. It just gives you an idea how good their pitching's been. Their starting pitching and their bullpen by and large. So if the Rockies can break out a little bit, you're going to get some wins.
The starter's ERA the first 33 ball games is 3.79. Tells you how well they have pitched.
They're 6th in the National League in starter ERA, and they're 4th in all of baseball in the opposition batting average against the starters.
I said 3.79. He's actually 3.72. I could not read my own handwriting.
This is a pop fly to shallow left. Bay coming on, Reyes going out. Bay has it, and the Rockies go in order in the first. The opposition hitting just .231 against the Rockies starters this year. 2-0 Mets.
We head to the top of the second inning. Jason Hamill, a bit of a hiccup there in the top of the first inning. However, Jim Tracy told us this morning that he has made a tremendous amount of improvements in terms of his game. He said, you know what, the biggest hurdle that he's had to overcome was in his last outing. In the sixth inning, he got into a tremendous jam and was able to go back out there in the seventh inning and shut the offense down. Jim Tracy said that was the message he was waiting to see. He sent Jason Hamill back out there in the seventh. He was able to have a nice inning there, get all the way to the back of the bullpen. He said he's continued to make improvements, continued to clear the hurdles. Now we'll see how he comes back in the second inning, see how he responds to that hiccup in the first, guys. But he is really, 10 wins last year, 10 wins the year before. He's really made vast improvements in the way that he's making his delivery and the way that he's pitching in every single outing.
Repeating his delivery, that's the other thing for Jason. Changed his arm slot, or getting that ball out of the glove sooner has made a big difference for him. He's 6'6", Pelfrey 6'7". Create that downward plane that pitchers always like to talk about.
Inside on Pridey, it's 2-2 on 27-year-old center fielder. Pridey's demonstrated a little power. 3 home runs since his call up.
Well, the other thing too, he's reached base in all 12 of his starts.
Dexter thought it was hit better than it was. He'll get there though with the loping stride.
Big swing, broken bat.
Yeah, that was hit below the label. That'll bring up Mike Pelfrey.
Ultimo will give us the look. And it's not out onto the sweet spot, right at the label, as you mentioned, Drew. And when you see a big swing like that as an outfielder, your first reaction is to go back because it's been hit harder. And then you try to pick up the ball and hear the sound.
Hey, Huey, why don't you go through? A lot of folks never, in this generation probably never swung a wood bat. You don't want to swing. Here's Pelfrey. This is a tough chance for Stewart, and he does it well. Nice job by Ian Stewart. Pelfrey sniffed the base hit. But with Reyes coming up, why don't you show people with the telestrator where the label is and what part of the bat, what part of the barrel the hitter is trying to utilize.
We'll go back to that swing just for a moment, and I'll show you. Let me back it up just a little bit. Where the sweet spot is, it's right in this area, right? Excuse me for a second, right here. And he hit it down on the label right there. That's just 2 inches or the width of a baseball, basically.
And they're hitting it on one side or the other of the label.
Right. In what you're taught is to have the label either up or down. So whatever feels comfortable to you. I always preferred to have the label up because I like to see that label when I was getting loose or my practice swings. Some guys didn't want to see it. So you think about hitting on either side of the label where the grain is running down the length of the bat.
And is the thought behind it that the wood is
stronger there because okay. you're hitting with the grain basically. The ball's going to go into the grain and hopefully will stay compact and won't splinter.
3-0 on Reyes. Ball, that's called a strike. 3-1. Reyes with his 12th double. He's tied Carlos Beltran, his teammate, for the National League lead in doubles. In the air to fairly deep right field. Smith will move under it, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Jason Hamill. 2-0 New York. Rockies will have Tulowitzki to begin things. The Rockies went in order in the first. Dexter Fowler on 3 pitches struck out. Johnny Herrera grounded second. Carlos Gonzalez pop fly to left. Here's Tulowitzki. And Troy pops it up foul, and it's going to get out of play. Great piece in USA Today. It was a cover story by Bob Nightingale, who does a sensational job in covering Major League Baseball and has for a long time. But the USA Today cover story in the sports section was on Troy Tulowitzki, just how driven he is to not only be the best shortstop in the game, but the best player in the game. And it's said not with arrogance. It's you come away, and if you know Troy, it's all about, if you're going to do something, be all in and do it to the absolute best of your ability.
Do it right.
Do it right.
Work hard. Good things will happen. And we talked about it. We did a little piece in the pregame show today about batting practice, and I mentioned during that piece that Troy was out here at 3 o'clock today taking early batting practice to try to get things right. It's not comfortable. Nobody's happy that they're hitting 079 in the last 10 ball games. He was the first one here. He's working hard at it. It shows you how difficult this game is, but Troy is driven to be the best player in the game.
2-2. One of the funniest parts of the piece was how Troy related that he's very close with Ryan Braun. He's very close with Evan Longoria. Longoria played with at Long Beach State, and he'll send them texts, Longoria in particular, after ball games, that he's not doing well. I stink. I'm horrible. And it's not even signed. But as soon as the 303 area code comes up, Longoria, this ball's hammered to right, deep and out of here. Troy Tulowitzki in opposite field, Bob, 2-1. He wasn't horrible there. He didn't stink on that pitch. He can write Longoria tonight and said, hey, I squared one up.
I was pretty good in my first at bat today. 9th home run on the season, 5 now against the New York Mets. And this is a great sign, folks. Hitting the ball the other way with power. We've seen Troy too many times out on the front foot a little bit, rolling over, pulling too many balls. Stayed on that one and drove it to right field. And as soon as he hit it, you knew it was gone. Had that sound, didn't it, Drew?
Oh, there was no question. It did have that sound.
We talked about hitting it on a sweet spot. Well, you can't hit it opposite field if you don't hit it on the sweet spot.
That's an interesting view of it. That's pretty cool. This ball is yanked to first, and Ike Davis, like a hockey goalie, knocked it down. Didn't clear the puck to the corner, which for his sake is a good thing. 1 out. That'll bring up Seth Smith in a 2-1 ball game. Well, the Mets won't have a no-hitter tonight, and the streak moves on from 1962 to present. 7,842 games, Doug has just told us, without a no-hitter. And the team coming in over the weekend has yet to throw a no-hitter.
Padres.
San Diego Padres. Another stat to throw in your back pocket. When Tulo hits a home run, the Rockies are 7-1. This guy high and deep right field. Did Smith get it? You go. We're all tied up. Seth Smith with his 3rd jack of the year. Rockies playing ping pong with the seats.
The Mets are saying, we did all that work in the first inning. We had to scratch and claw to get a couple runs, and 2 swings of the bat, ball game's all tied up. Perfect head positioning from Seth Smith. And then the hips rotate through the ball after contact, stayed centered. Gorgeous swing.
Here's Chris Iannetta, and Iannetta hits a high fly ball near the line, and now in foul ground, under control. The catch is made by Beltran. That'll bring up Ian Stewart.
You can see the Rockies have made the adjustment after that first inning. Looking at too many fastballs early on. They go up there firing at that first fastball that they see now, because that's being a little bit flat. It's not having the sink on it.
For Smith, that was his first home run since April the 17th at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. And a shattered bat, and Pelfrey has it. He's just got to wait for Davis. In the inning, the Rockies get a couple of solo home runs. Seth Smith and Troy Tulowitzki. And it is 2 apiece as we go to the third at Coors Field. Boy, was this good to see last inning on a 2-2 pitch. Troy Tulowitzki goes opposite field, and then Seth Smith went down and drove one into the bullpen. So the Rockies back even with the New Yorkers as we go to the third. Daniel Murphy at the plate, and the first pitch is in there for a strike. And Jason Hamill, he'll try to get the Rockies back to the bat rack very quickly. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Everett's behind home plate. We've established that. Mark Wegner is at first. Chris Guccione at second. And at third base, Mike Winters. Here's the 1-1. Good breaking ball. 4-pitch mix with Hamill. Really improved his changeup this year, and it's shown up in fastball counts more and more.
Well, you have to be able to do that at this level. Oh, excuse me, swing.
Good job by Stewart. Tell you what, Stewart has, we talked about this before, Huey, and I want you to embellish this. He has shortstop attributes with how he fields the baseball, how fluid he is with the glove.
And he uses a shortstop-sized glove. That's the other thing for a third baseman. Very small glove, but an excuse me, check swing, get off me ball type of swing. He comes in, circles it, gets rid of it in one motion. And for a guy that's 235 pounds to make an athletic move like that, it tells you that his feet are working right.
Here's David Wright. And the breaking ball for a strike. David struck out on 3 pitches with runners at first and third in the first inning and gave the Rockies hope that they may be able to wiggle out of that first inning jam without any damage. Unfortunately, Mike Davis had a 2-run single a couple of doors down. 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, getting back to Ian Stewart, former first-round pick. He's got unbelievable ability, which is why it's been very frustrating for everybody involved in it, and nobody's more frustrated than Ian. He doesn't want to look up on that big scoreboard and see his batting average with a 0 in front of it. Here's the 2-1. That's in there. And I can't even imagine, Huey, you can speak to this, what you feel like when you're going through a horrendous slump. Not a 1 for 12 or 1 for 15, but a massive slump like he's in. David Wright, a strikeout victim again.
You feel awful. And you know, fans feel bad. They're yelling at you. Nobody feels worse about this than Ian Stewart, what he's going through. He can't. can't sleep at night sometimes because it's just a horrible feeling that you feel like I'm under a pile of dirt and I can't get out of it.
Beltran walked his first time, and that's called a strike. I guess the one thing, if you're a guy like Ian Stewart, not a rookie, that you try to draw upon is maybe you turn the page back and you can look back a couple of years where he was a National League Player of the Week. He can look back and say, boy, you know what, I've put up some good numbers at the major league level.
But it shows you how fragile this game is and how the mind plays with you a lot of times.
Well, we heard yesterday from Troy Tulowitzki, one of the game's best players, that a week ago he had lost confidence.
It happens to a lot of people at this level.
Great inning for Hamill. He has retired 8 in a row, and Ian Stewart made a very fine play in the inning. 2-2. Bottom of the third inning, Jason Hamill will lead off for the Rockies, and he's behind 0-1 to Mike Pelfrey, who gave up a couple of long balls last inning, one to Tulowitzki, one to Smith. David Wright coming hard. For a moment had trouble getting it out of the glove. So both pitchers have hit virtually the same ball. That huge Baltimore chop off the plate to the third baseman. Tonight's E470 Road Ahead brought to you by E470. Sign up for Express Toll and start paying 20% less on E470 tolls. Mets will depart an afternoon affair tomorrow. The Rockies will have a day off Thursday. And then a weekend set against the Padres. First time the Rockies have seen Bud Black's crew this year. The Giants are in for a 2-gamer, and then the Rockies will go to Philly for 2, Milwaukee for 3 before returning back home. Dexter Fowler with 1 out. Takes ball 1. Dexter did not swing the bat his first time up. Saw 3 pitches, all strikes, and turned around. Here's an interesting graphic on Dexter Fowler. He has struck out a lot this year. We have discussed that. He has walked more than he ever has in his career. So the combination of walks and strikeouts, he's number 1. Jack Cust, a former Rocky, that's strike 3. Dex not picking up the baseball evidently from Pelfrey. Second time he's been frozen tonight. But You know, David Wright's on that list. Guys who have a good eye, but guys typically more power guys are in that group.
And more middle of the road hitters, 3, 4, 5 type of hitters, not the leadoff type like Dexter Fowler. 43 strikeouts now on the season for Dexter.
That'll bring up Johnny, and Johnny hits it on the ground to Jose Reyes. Good inning for Pelfrey. We'll go to the 4th. The Rockies 2 and the Mets 2. Just an 8-pitch inning. As we go to the 4th inning, Ike Davis, who had a 2-run single in the 1st inning, will lead it off for New York. They just swept the infield dirt as they do twice a ball game, so all the infielders will have a nice smooth surface to work with.
You don't get that in the minor leagues. Minor leagues, it's
one drag before the game.
You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Up here, you make sure it's pristine, and Mark Razum and his crew do some of the best in baseball at that. This infield is perfect.
Backdoor breaking balls, a strike to Davis. The Rockies have 3 on the right side. Stewart the only one on the left side. Mike Davis hitting .369 against right-handed pitching. He was on that list, and we'll see him later on this year. Brett Wallace of Houston. A top hitting prospect. This guy's been the most traded young player in baseball, and he's finally settled in Houston, and he's swinging it.
Sometimes you have to trade something to get something. I always looked at it as the other team wanted me more. Don't look at it as a negative, look at it as a positive. Maybe because it happened to me quite a bit.
You have to look at it as glass half full, right?
Yep.
There's the 2-1. That's a strike. You know, there's some guys, everybody loads Huey in a different way. I mean, he really pulls his hands back.
Tried to get the separation as the foot's going forward, the hands going back. The problem with that, sometimes you get locked out with that front arm, that it bars out on you. As long as there's still a little bit of a bend in it, then you can fire from there and create the power that Ike Davis does have.
And Davis pops it up. Shallow center. Gonzalez in the neighborhood. So is Fowler. Dexter takes it. That's 9 in a row set down now by Hamill. That'll bring up Jason Bay. AT&T trivia question. On Sunday, Todd Helton had his 7,000th career at bat. Who's the all-time leader in at bats? Now, if you think about this, you'll probably come up with the answer.
7,000.
You got to be pretty good for somebody to, for enough people who want you to hang around to get 7,000 at bats. Here's the 1-1, or excuse me, the 0-1 to Bay. Now it's 1-1. I was prescient there.
Clairvoyant.
That too. 2-1. Bay 4 for his last 35 at the plate. Two and two.
Jason's starting to find that rhythm a little bit now. First couple innings, scattering the fastball, leaving the breaking ball behind and spinning it up there. Found the mechanics as far as finishing out, not spinning off the throw.
3-2. Let's see what Chris Ionetta calls here with Bay, who has struggled on the breaking ball. I think he told him exactly that. Stay on line. And this is pulled foul. Good range in the foul ground there by Stewart. Hey, this Thursday at 6:30, don't miss a new episode of Rockies All Access Mile High Managers. Take a look back at all 5 of the managers that have taken the reins of the Rockies. And hear from Todd Helton as he describes what it's been like to play for all 5 skippers. Don Baylor, Jim Leland, Buddy Bell, Clint Hurdle, and now Jim Tracy. Center fielder has right away. Dexter Fowler called off Seth Smith and made the catch. 2 gone. Oh, Casey Stengel. You can't play the Mets and not have a Stengelism. Our Geico quote of the day. We, being the Mets, are a much improved ball club. Now we lose in extra innings.
I love that face.
Oh, he was the best. This is, oh man, that's off a Hamill. Paulino's going to reach, and now you just hope that Jason Hamill's okay.
Get a look on the replay to try to decipher where this ball hit him. You just hope it caught more of the muscle than a bone. Really slow it down with the Ultimo. Tried to jump and get out of the way. Hopefully it's more of the calf than it was the bone.
Yeah, because we've seen it happen. I mean, it happened to Aaron Cook. You could break a bone that way, obviously, with the ball coming back. Alan Embry, too. A ball coming back at well over 100 miles an hour at you. And then if it is the calf, what your concern is, how much does it tighten up once he goes back to the dugout?
Inning from now, 2 innings from now.
Right.
Not up to bat for a couple of innings. So you're going to go out there and so when you sit down, well, I'm sure the trainers will be with him during that time, just kind of massaging that calf muscle so it does not tighten up.
That will leave a mark. Grimaced a little bit on that.
When you want to make sure you don't alter your delivery at all. You're afraid to push off. Is it going to hurt if I push off? And now I throw the arm at a different angle.
Yeah, but Troy helping out there. Scotty Garrett. He's moonlighting as a trainer.
I think it's best to leave it up to the hands of the professionals, though.
That's what Hamilton said. He's like, listen, you go play shortstop. I know you're really good there. Well, that ended a string of 10 in a row set down by Hamill after Ike Davis's 2-run single in the first. Paulino's aboard with 2 outs. And Jason Pridey, who hit a fly ball to center field's up there. How good have the Rockies starters been really all year, but in particular, the last 7 games, they've gone 44 innings. The opposition's hitting 168 against them. You kidding me? ERA 2.25. The only thing that's strange about that graphic is the number of walks. Remember, Jimenez had a 5-walk game. Chacin 6 yesterday. De La Rosa
3 in the first inning.
Well, no, it was 4 of the 3. No, you're right. I'm sorry, 3 in the first, 4 of the first 6 hitters.
Yeah.
And they ended up having really strong outings, all of them. So the Rockies with a little bit of offense would, instead of being 1-6 over that period of time, or 2-5, excuse me, 2-5 over that period of time, very easily 5-2 or even better than that. But that's not how the game works. 3-1 on Friday. Elton's playing behind Paulino, the catcher. And that catches the corner.
Fastball. And a changeup. This the zone. Got the call.
Pulled, foul. Rockies began the day 1.5 games in front of San Francisco in the National League West. 4 up on Arizona, 4.5 on LA, and 6 up on San Diego. The Giants opening up a 3-game set tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks at AT&T Park. 3-2 again. And ball 4. That'll bring up Pelfrey. Now Toyota Talk, as we do every night, coming up in the 6th inning. Text Toyota followed by a space, and then your comments and questions to 720-720. Second walk allowed by Hamill. We've got Pelfrey on a Baltimore chop to third. Back in the 2nd inning. And this is lined to right center field by Pelfrey. And that's going to cost the Rockies. And here comes the trail runner, Pridey. He's going to score. It's a 2-run double by Pelfrey. Mike Pelfrey's first hit of the year, a 2-run double, 4-2 New York.
1 for 13 now on the season for Pelfrey. He shot the gap in right center field. Almost like the ball that Ike Davis had up into the zone. Pelfrey drove it that way. Scored Paulino and then Friday, who would walk.
Well, Hamill had 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the Mets lineup. Single by Paulino off his calf, and then he walks Pridey. In the first pitch, Pelfrey, and to get it over fastball, lined it to right center field.
That's now 2 for 4 on the evening with runners in scoring position.
Outside on Reyes, who's 1 for 2, a double in the first. Two on Reyes, out of a crouch, breaking ball. Helton will get there, and he'll run to the bag, and that's the end of the inning. But Mike Pelfrey hurts Colorado with a 2-run double to right center. thank viewers from Eagle, Colorado. And I know we at Root Sports and also the Rockies appreciate your support. So send us a message on the Root Sports Facebook page. Let us know your favorite haunt to root for the Rockies over in Eagle. Jason Hamill went to the bench after that inning, and now he's going downstairs following Keith Duggar.
Looked like he was limping a little bit.
Yeah. Say initially no member of the training staff went over to him. So the Rockies are behind by 2 again, as Cargo will lead it off in the 4th inning, followed by Tulowitzki and Hilton. Belfry's had 2 1-2-3 innings, and in the 2nd inning, the hiccup. A home run to Tulowitzki with 1 out, a home run to Smith.
Let's see how Pelfrey responds after having to run the bases a little bit that last inning.
He gets the first pitch over at 91, a strike to Gonzalez. It looked like Cargo was coming out of his slump about a week or so ago, but he continues to struggle at the plate in terms of results.
It just hasn't translated from what he's doing in batting practice to the game, because we were down on the field today watching him take batting practice, and we were commenting on how he was driving the ball to right center field, how he hit the one to center, to left center field. So it's working there. The next step is into the game.
Yep.
It's bad when it's not working in batting practice. Then you're really lost.
Yeah, maybe just watching a guy you respect a lot in Tulowitzki. Troy has been struggling. He drove the ball the other way. Cargo's been out front quite a bit. And that was a nasty pitch, 2-2.
And hopefully all these games here at Coors Field where he's hitting 300 this year will help him get back into the flow of things, get some of that confidence back.
Coming into tonight, before the 2 home runs, the Rockies had 3 extra base hits in their previous 4 games. Iannetta had 2 of those 3 last night, the double and the home run, which was the difference in the game. And this is back up the middle, diving stop by Reyes, and he's going to get Cargo. Jose Reyes steals a hit from Carlos Gonzalez.
We saw Troy Tulowitzki go up the middle last night, dive and make the play. Now it's Jose Reyes' turn. Quick feet to get up, strong arm. This ball was first hit. You're thinking it had a chance to get out there, but that last hop before Reyes got it, the ball kind of came up a little bit. When it does do that, it slows down once it hits the grass. It allowed Reyes to get there.
This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Troy Tulowitzki's first time up, 2-2 pitch, and he went opposite field over the scoreboard into the night. Don't throw away your non-winning scratch tickets. Replay every ticket in the second chance drawing at coloradolottery.com. Tulowitzki's 9th of the year. He's got 19 RBIs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Pelfrey in his career is 2-1 at Coors Field, a 3.24 ERA, but 2 of the 3 outings at Coors Field he didn't allow a run. This is right around the pitcher's mound. Pelfrey thought about it, right, collides with Davis.
Ouch.
And Davis may have gotten that in the rib cage.
Ball is hit that high, everybody's running to it. And what ends up happening a lot of times is both guys will call for the baseball, but they'll call for it at the same time and you don't hear the other guy. Look, from the Ultimo, David Wright just gets his glove up higher than Ike Davis. says, I'm all right, let's go.
Goes back to something we always discuss. You know what? If the pitcher could make the catch, to me.
But that one he couldn't because it was hit too high. But I understand the point you're making. A lot of the pitchers are told just to completely get out of the way. But what the pitcher has to do is he has to direct traffic.
Helton at the plate, hit it sharply at Ike Davis his first time up. And that pitch on the outside corner. Todd, a .346 career batting average against the Mets. 6 for 11 lifetime against Pelfrey. .355 batting average lifetime at Coors Field. (4-2) New York. On the Pelfrey 2-run double last inning. He's going to turn foul. Todd hit it well.
How many times have pitchers tried to come in? Todd hooks one foul, then they try to work it away from him. It's a base hit to left field.
And a line drive. Boy, that ate up Murphy. He was in position to make the catch, and it glanced off his body. A base hit for Helton.
That ball was hit so hard that it hooked back on him. Todd hit the ball hard the first time to Ike Davis, and Murphy, fortunate he got his glove up and that didn't take his head off.
See if the Rockies can get something rolling here with 2 outs. Seth Smith rolled one in the air to the bullpen. Well, the Rockies, his first at bat, his 3rd home run of the year. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Smith got a pitch that was out over the plate down, and he stroked it to the bullpen for his 3rd home run. As we mentioned, don't throw away your non-winning scratch tickets. Replay every ticket in the second chance draws at coloradolottery.com. Ball and a strike on Smith.
Fans, get your tickets to see the Rockies square off against the Padres May 13th through the 15th. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But don't forget that 14th, the game on Saturday, has a special start time of 1:10. We'll have a pregame show starting at 12:30. Get your tickets at all the usual places.
And it's 3-1 on Smith. Ball 4. That'll bring up Chris Iannetta with 2 aboard. You know, Chris is swinging the bat well. He's got a 6-game hitting streak going. First walk allowed by Pelfrey. Sunday, Todd Helton had his 7,000th career at bat. Our AT&T trivia question: who's the all-time leader? Well, who's the all-time hit king? Pete Rose. He had more than twice as many at bats as Helton, and Todd will be 38 in August. And he's played virtually every day in his career, which began in the late stages of 1997.
14,000 at bats.
Amazing. In fact, 1,689 more at bats than the number 2 guy on the list, Hammerin' Henry Aaron. Iannetta couldn't pull the trigger. He got the bat about halfway to the zone, fouled off, so it's 0-1 on Chris.
Let's hope this half inning ends like the Mets half inning did last inning. 2 quick outs and a single, a walk, and a double.
Chris, during the 6-game hitting streak, 7 for 17. He's hitting the long ball, 5 home runs. April, 182 average. May's hitting 409.
Home run he hit in Arizona was a lot like the one he hit last night. This leads the Rockies here at Coors Field with 4 home runs and 11 RBIs.
Yeah, the Rockies haven't exploded yet offensively at Coors Field. You know they will. They came into this ball game hitting .232 as a team, which this far into the season is astounding. Helton singled. He is at second. Seth Smith just walked. 2-1 on Iannetta.
Pelfrey stayed pretty true to form, throwing 75, 76% fastballs tonight. The 2 pitches that he has mixed in have been the changeup and the slider.
And they're pretty much all 2-seam fastballs. In spring training, he was working on a 4-seamer up in the zone, but he wasn't comfortable with it. 3-2. Stewart is on deck.
Well, when he was working with that 4-seam, he lost the feel of his sinker with the 2-seam. And finally he said, forget it. I'm a 2-seam sinker pitcher. That's what I am. That's my bread and butter. Quit messing around with these other things and get back to what's made me successful.
Three and 2. Runners will be off. It's fouled off. And you wonder if, Dan Worthen, who's a pitching coach, was influenced at all by the presence of Chris Young, who's now it looks like going to have shoulder surgery. Because Young, one of the best examples of a guy who doesn't throw super hard, but throws a 4-seamer up in the zone and gets a ton of swings and misses on it. Big, tall right-hander.
Yeah, but Chris has done that his whole career. Pelfrey hasn't. So you're asking a guy in midstream to change what's got him and made him successful at the big league level.
And the 3-2s bounce to Jose Reyes. So the Rockies will leave 2 on in the 4th. We turn the page to inning number 5, 4-2 New York. high efficiency inning. Well, Jason Hamill at one point retired 10 in a row. That time he got Mike Pelfrey. The next time he wouldn't. Pelfrey would get a 2-run double, which is the difference in this ball game right now. But he worked a 1-2-3 inning when he got Jose Reyes in second to fly to right. That's brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. Daniel Murphy takes ball one. All right, I got a topic, Huey.
Okay.
Had a gentleman who's watching the ball game with his son tweet me, because I'm old school. I always refer to runs batted in as RBIs. That's how I was brought up. I know it's an acronym, but it's almost in the baseball vernacular a word. And it wasn't until, I don't know, probably the last 10, 15 years where somebody on national television decided to say, well, it's in theory, it's not runs batted ins, it's runs batted in, and therefore it should be singular.
RBI.
Right. But there are many cases in the English language where we treat certain acronyms as a word. We say MREs, right, in the military, on the ground to second. It's, another military term, it's POWs. And so it's always been that way in baseball. And this gentleman is trying, he's teaching, he's trying to teach his son the right way. So our question for you, are you old school like myself and like Jeff Hewson, and you say RBIs and you're good with that, or are you of the new school that we ought to say RBI? So text us during our Toyota Talk 6th inning your thoughts on that. David Wright with one out. He has struck out twice, and he takes strike one.
That's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be split about 50-50.
On the ground, foul. Stewart's made a couple of good plays that don't count tonight in foul territory. 2 strikes on Wright. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. It's a great deal. See a Wells Fargo banker as well, member FDIC. Another military term, one that has become very familiar, particularly in the first part of the 21st century. Weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. Did Iraq have WMDs was the big question, right?
So we'll try to tally them to see where we're at the end of the Toyota Talk.
We'll make Dougie keep track. Ooh. He's not doing anything. Here's the 0-2, 1-2.
Doug's looking at you like, what do I have to do?
Two and 2 on Wright. To third. Good pickup by Stewart. That ball was hit hard. Hey, check-in time with Alana Rizzo again. She has the Fast Cash Sideline Report brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Alana, it's RBIs.
I say RBI, actually.
I know you do, because
do.
you're much younger.
Thank you. I am much younger than you, Drew. Chris
6 months. That's it. All right. Let's not get carried away.
Chris Iannetta, 8 for 25 when throwing out base runners today. I talked to him and Marv Foley, the catching coordinator for the Rockies, about what he's doing more effectively. Basically, he's turning the position of his hand. And to illustrate for you, I'm going to throw this down. To illustrate, he was moving. His hand used to be very parallel. Marv Foley wanted him to move it to more of what they call a 2 o'clock position to have more of a proper target when he's receiving the baseball. Basically, it's helping the exchange to cut down some time from out of his glove to the bag, guys. So Chris Iannetta, we've talked about it at length in terms of how good he has been game calling, but really defensively he's doing much better this season as well, guys.
Okay, Alana.
I would say a little bit, you're a little older than me than 6 months, by the way.
Alana, I have a question. You said
yes.
Chris Iannetta is throwing out base runners, but
yes.
isn't he just throwing out one base runner?
Oh, come on.
Well, no,
I'm saying collectively, though, 8 for 25 base runners. Not all at the same time, of course, but yes, each time it's just one.
It goes to my point of RBIs or RBI.
Oh, dear. Yes. Okay, base runner. He's throwing out a base runner at a time.
I'm
RBI,
just having fun.
RBIs, base runner.
1, 2, 3 inning for Jason Hamill. Rockies need some ribbies. Davis, who collided with David Wright, evidently is hurt, and he's left the ball game. Justin Turner is in to play second base. Daniel Murphy, who is at second base, will slide over and put the big glove on. Ian Stewart, Jason Hamill, Dexter Fowler gets Pelfrey in the fifth, and the first pitch is in there for a strike. Stewart had his bat broken on a one-hop comebacker his first time up. Outside, 1-1. And it's hit hard right at Murphy.
Wouldn't you know it, as soon as you change positions or go into the ball game, the ball's going to find you. It found Murphy right into his big glove.
Time for a Quest high-speed pitch. Pelfrey at 95, Hamill at 94. Brought to you by the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. Hamill with a base hit. Hamill trying to get back at Pelfrey for the 2-run double.
Wait around. First pitch that he sees, fastball in and up. Turned on it. Squared it up.
Dexter takes down low. Fowler's been caught looking twice in this ball game. Hopefully that hit by Hamill turns into something big here in the fifth inning. One out base runner, top of the order now. And this is back up the middle. Reyes made the feed to Justin Turner. And Turner was able to snag it and get on the bag. Now, Reyes has played with so many different second basemen. Turner thought it was funny. The ball was suspended in the air forever.
The thing for Turner, though, is he knows that the pitcher's running. The range for Reyes is as good as there is in baseball. We've seen him make 2 plays up the middle. Just make him effortlessly.
2 outs. Johnny Herrera at the plate. Johnny's 0 for 2. Ground ball to second and a ground ball to short.
Dexter can get a jump. It's not a bad time to run here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, but where you are in the lineup, you have Herrera leading off if he got thrown out. There's areas of Dexter's games, like every young player, especially a leadoff guy. So many things to batting leadoff, Huey, that he's still developing. Obviously, he struck out more than he'd like. The walks are up, so he's developing there. Still developing as a base stealer for a fast guy.
There's a couple adjustments that I think Dexter could make, and one has to do with this right shoulder. He has it, to me, a little closed off towards first, where he could open it up just a little bit more. The right foot could be more at a 45-degree angle pointing towards second base. Just minor things that help you get a quicker start and a better jump.
Johnny pulls it down the line. Diving stop by Murphy. If that was hit with a few more RPMs, it would have gone down the right field line.
It would have got by Murphy at first.
More RPM. In this game, a 2-out, 2-run double by Mike Pelfrey, who did not have a hit in his previous 6 starts this year. Justin Turner, who just came into the ball game, will lead it off. Is a product of Cal State Fullerton. In fact, was on their 2004 NCAA championship team. 2-0. Turner was called up from Buffalo when the Mets sent Brad Emis back to Toronto. It was a Rule 5 selection. The Rockies then worked a deal with Toronto. Brad Emis is now playing in the Rockies organization in Colorado Springs. Oh, it's our Toyota Talk inning. Major League fielding leaders among catchers. Giovanni Soto and Chris Iannetta up near the top.
Kurt Suzuki.
Old school, it's always going to be that way. There's a base hit for Turner. It's RBI. Shannon's RBIs all the way. It just doesn't sound right any other way. See, I agree
with you, Mike.
Yeah, technically, It would be RBIs, runs batted in. Our director Jim Armitrad pointed that out earlier. You could hear that. We didn't give Jim a mic. Jim gets the mic, he starts singing. Keep the tradition, Brian in Westminster.
So there's 1 for the singular, 5 for the RBIs.
Keep track.
Okay. Ribbies. 6, 7.
Jason Bay at the plate.
So far, the RBIs have it, hands down.
It's a baseball
It is
world.
a baseball
Exempt
word.
from normal English. That's probably the best way to describe it. Buddies, Mark up in Cheyenne, Huey.
I always talk about a lot of Wyoming fans. RBI means Rockies bring intensity. It's 16 for RBIs.
We're kicking butt. High fly ball, shallow right field. Smith's got a long run. He's going to get there.
Hit the 20 plateau.
Is that Rain, North Dakota? Is that how you pronounce that, Ted?
Sure.
I'm 20, but I always said RBIs is plural. Saying RBI singular doesn't sound right. See, I agree with you, Brandon. Franklin Morales is up in the Rockies pen. Ronnie Paulino at the plate. The bomb.
Chris from Arvada. Doesn't matter as long as right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Agree with you, Josh.
It's, Josh up in Laramie. See, he says RBIs. He's an old cowboy. That guy's seen more football games in Laramie than our cowboy has, Tracy Ringlesby.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
I'm
just guessing.
Just guessing. You know what?
I'm a teacher and still say RBIs. Hands. Give me the gavel. Give me the gavel.
Sold.
1 and 2. See if I could write in right now, but I can't figure out how to work the Toyota Talk.
You
but
can
if
barely
I could,
tweet.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's amazing, folks, that I'm on Twitter and what's the other thing? Facebook.
Facebook.
Okay. I would write it. If you say RBI, you're trying too hard.
I agree with you. You don't have to convince me.
One and 2 on Ronnie Paulino, who singled off the lower leg of Jason Hamill in his last at bat. And this is in the air to right center field. Look out, Smith and Fowler, and Dexter takes it. Remember the great line, I think it was Ralph Kiner, who said about Gary Maddox, 2/3 of the world is covered by water, the other third is covered by Gary Maddox. Talking about his range. The same could be said about Dexter Fowler.
Well, with this big outfield, you need that, though. You need a guy that can cover a lot of ground. It was a great line.
Jason Pridey at the plate. Uh-oh.
Not quite.
Did he get it?
Nope.
No. Good. Edge of the track, Smith. His Fowler was like a step away from making that catch also. Exaggerating. Good inning. Cargo to lead it off, 4-2 New York. ball is gone. That's the entire Rockies offense tonight. Troy Tulowitzki making a ball go bye-bye, and Seth Smith making a ball go bye-bye. Rockies trail 4-2. They won last night 2-1. Still waiting to bunch some hits together. 2 runs on 4 hits. Gonzalez robbed of a base hit. Hard hit ball up the middle. Jose Reyes laid out, popped to his feet, and just threw out Gonzalez in his last at bat. So it'll be Cargo, Tulowitzki, and Helton, and starting to get to the late stages of the game.
But keep that same approach if you're Carlos, because that swing will get you where you want to be. Pelfrey coming into this ball game and really had trouble with the 1 through 5 hitters tonight. Just a combined 2 for 12.
1-0, driven to center field and deep. Going back is Priddy. He's not going to get there. Home run, center field, 4-3. That was the same approach. 3rd of the year for Cargo. His first at Coors Field.
But it was nice to see him drive it out to center field. That ground ball that he hit up the middle was a good approach. This one was even better. Stayed through it a little bit longer and drove the ball dead center field and had that finish where he knew once he hit it, as the leg kick comes up, circles back, gets locked in, and nothing prettier than that swing.
Look at the extension he gets.
Well, but he stayed through it. That's the point I was making. If he stays through it, then the good things are going to happen. Watch the finish after he makes contact, folks. That's where you get the extension. The ball goes through and keeps going.
Tulowitzki drives it to left field and pretty deep. But he hit it to left center where it sneaks out close to 424. So long out for Tulowitzki. 1 in, 1 out. Todd Helton coming up. 4-3 ball game. Todd's hit the ball hard twice. He's 1 for 2. Almost took off the glove of Daniel Murphy his last time up. Murphy was playing second at the time. A line shot that just ate him up.
He was fortunate that didn't hit him in the head.
Yeah, you're right. Todd 7 for 12 lifetime against Pelfrey. And make it 8 for 13. He's just wearing him out. Tying run is on base. 2-hit night for Helton. And it'll bring up Seth Smith, who Pelfrey has yet to retire. A home run and a walk for Smith. If your windshield's cracked or has winter damage, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com.
Hunter Jack out in full force again tonight.
He never misses.
Nope.
Off the plate, ball 1 on Smith.
The second curveball we've seen tonight from Pelfrey.
And if you're a hitter, you just dismiss that right away because you're not going to see it again.
No, well, especially first pitch. I'm not going to fire at a first pitch curveball, even if he were to throw it for a strike.
Smith drives this to center field. It's got to get down. Cut off there by Priddy. So a couple of hard hit balls that are outs in the inning. Tulowitzki and Smith. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Iannetta as Igarashi is up and throwing.
Well, that has nothing to do with pitch count for Pelfrey. He only has 74 pitches in the game, due up first next inning. It's the swings that the Rockies are starting to take off of Pelfrey is what Terry Collins is seeing.
It's all right to be a hero 2 nights in a row, isn't it, Jeff?
Nothing against that in the rule books with Chris Iannetta. Why not? Go ahead. Hit another home run. Put your club up.
4-3 after the Cargo home run. Helton at first. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball to third, and Wright comes up with the in-between hop. So in the inning, the Rockies inch closer. Carlos Gonzalez with a long home run to center field. Boy, this was a thing of beauty. We'll go to the 7th. Mets leading 4-3. Alexis look back. 4-3 ball game in the second inning. Troy Tulowitzki with the Mets ahead 2-0. Hit his 9th home run of the year. He went opposite field. A couple hitters later, Seth Smith with his 3rd of the year. This to the Rockies bullpen. The 4th inning with 2 outs. Mike Pelfrey of all people took a fastball that was above the belt, lined it to the gap in right center, put the Mets ahead 4-2. Carlos Gonzalez made it 4-3 with a home run to center last inning. And Pelfrey leading off here in the 7th takes strike 1. Excuse me, it's now 0-2. He missed a pitch. That look back brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address.
Terry Collins trying to get one more inning out of Pelfrey. Likes to bring in Jason Isringhausen in the 8th inning to get to Francisco Rodriguez in the 9th. That's the way Terry plays out his bullpen late in the game.
Pelfrey gave up 2 in the first. Lead double to Reyes and single to Murphy, and ultimately they scored on an Ike Davis 2-run single. Pelfrey a strikeout victim. Iannetta applies the tag. That's the 5th strikeout for Hamill, and then of course the mistake to Pelfrey. Hamill's pitched another pretty good ball game.
Able to limit in that 1st inning to just a couple runs with the strikeouts to end it with Bay and Paulino. But the 2-out base hit, and then the 2-out walk and the 2-out hit. Sandwiched between those has been some dominating pitching.
That's a strike. Reyes 1 for 3. Talking to Jose before the ball game today in the Mets clubhouse, and like so many, he is a big admirer of Troy Tulowitzki. And so he pops it up in that direction, but it'll be Stewart. Fair ground by a step, 2 outs. It's so big to keep him off the bases. He has 1 hit in this series, and what happened?
Scored, double. Scored. Now he's tied with Carlos Beltran for doubles in the National League with 12.
Daniel Murphy. Slider, called a strike. Hamill scheduled to hit second next inning. And he's at 111 pitches, so this will be the final inning of work. So a big bouncer to Troy. He's got to come get it. That's an impossible play. That'll be a base hit. That is an impossible play, isn't it, Jeff?
Well, it goes off the plate. You sit there for just a brief second and wonder, is it going to stay up in the air long enough? Troy starts to go after it and realizes that all I can do is try to throw my glove up there because it's an in-between hop. It's not a hop that you can try to set the glove, bend the knees, get underneath it. And even if he catches it, then he's got to worry about the quick transfer. Daniel Murphy getting out of the box from the left side.
He wasn't going to get him.
No, it's an easy base hit.
Now Hamill will have to deal with David Wright again. Wright 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, a hard smash to third.
Terry Collins, before yesterday's ball game, was talking about David Wright and how he doesn't want to come out of the game, but he's been dealing with a back issue. And that's really limited him, not just hitting, but hitting for a lot of power in the last couple weeks. Had a dive play over at third base and tweaked that back.
One and one on Wright. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. With 2 outs in the 4th inning, Ronnie Paulino hits a line drive off the lower leg of Jason Hamill. Now Hamill threw, after being looked at, through 3 pitches to make sure he was okay. He continued on. In that inning, though, he'd walked the next man, Friday, and then Pelfrey had the 2-run double. After that point, he's pitched very, very well. This is in the air to shallow right. Smith will come on, and Wright is retired again. And 7 innings of pretty solid work once again for Jason Hamill. Rockies trail 4-3. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by the Colorado Lottery. Don't forget to play. Now there's some weather in the forecast for tomorrow.
This kind of came in a little bit quicker because they were saying before the ball game about 10 o'clock tonight.
Well, it's arrived early. Ian Stewart against Pelfrey here in the bottom of the 7th, and he takes strike 1. Stewart, a comebacker and a hard one-hopper to the first baseman, Daniel Murphy.
The flags have changed direction too. It would have been blowing out a little bit to center and right center. Now it's blowing in very hard straight in from left field.
And Stewart pops it up. This could be interesting. Turner makes the catch. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo again. Alana, you dry?
Kind of. It's starting to sprinkle pretty heavily over here, guys, and the wind has certainly picked up and is now swirling over here. I'm in left field. I wanted to talk about the probable pitching staff for the Colorado Rockies. Jim Tracy wasn't able to commit yesterday when I asked him about the San Diego series. He was able to do that today. Friday, De La Rosa will throw. Saturday, Yoelish Chacin will be on the hill. Jason Hamill goes on Sunday. Beyond that, the series, the 2-game set with San Francisco, Ubaldo Jimenez will throw Monday. Clayton Mortensen getting the start on Tuesday. Now, Clayton Mortensen is available in the Rockies bullpen to get some work before he gets his first start. There was just a huge lightning bolt out here, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my mic off back upstairs.
Good idea.
We'll tell you the rest of the rotation. Thanks, Alana. Be safe.
Well, Baldo's showing tomorrow, weather permitting, and turn around and face the Giants again.
Alfredo Amezaga pinch hitting for Hamill. Here's the 0-1, and it's 0-2 on Alfredo. Bob Apodaca visiting with Jason Hamill. You know, the leadoff double, a seeing eye hit by Murphy, and then Ike Davis drove in 2 with a hard ground ball up the middle, and then the mistake to Pelfrey. Other than that, really a good outing again by Jason Hamill. A winning out.
A winning out. That's the thing that you ask from your pitcher. Go out there and give your ball club a chance to win, and Jason Hamill has done that tonight.
And you would hope, especially with the Rockies offense, and I know they're not in a good place. 3 solo home runs tonight. Hopefully a sign that it's starting to emerge. But you wouldn't think 4 runs typically would beat you at Coors Field.
Well, and at some point your offense has to pick up a pitcher. The pitchers have picked up the offense quite a bit this year. Let's turn the tables now and do something for them.
And again, the Rockies starting pitching over the last 7 games, an ERA, you know, in the low 2s, yet the team is 2-5.
And that's back to my point, is at some point the offense needs to pull their weight.
Well, that's baseball. You know, when all facets of the game work, you win 8-0. Three and 2. We get great starting pitching, the bullpen for a couple innings, the offense bunches hits together.
Good defense.
And you know, that's when you win 8-0, 8-1, 7-0, 7-1, that kind of thing.
And when you go on those rolls where you win 9 out of 10 ball games, 11 out of 12.
3-2, Amezaga up the middle. That ball came up nicely for Turner. And there are 2 outs. That'll bring up Dexter Fowler. What is this? Oh, we're promoting that we're on Facebook and Twitter. And the way you can reach us at Drew, what do you call that? _ Goodman, at Tom _ Helmer, at Alana Rizzo on Twitter and also Facebook. We have fun with it. Tom is boy, it's really coming down now. I know Tom sometimes solicits people for thoughts on
the topicals
for the post-game show. And Alana's great about
she's at Facebook.
Yeah.
She's on there a lot, updating the roster and the lineups.
2-1. This is on the umpires. And the guy to look at, folks, if you're looking in, we'll get a shot of him in a moment. It's the third base umpire, Mike Winters. He's the crew chief. And I guarantee after this half inning, he's going to go visit with Mark Razum to get an update on the weather report. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. but it's now really coming down.
Well, and a lot of lightning, too, in the area. That's the other thing. And there goes Mark. He's just been on the phone. He's checking the radar, getting the updates. He pulled out the phone now. But it's the lightning that you have to start to worry about.
Deck's battling away.
Yeah, they're just pulling him off the field now. They're not even going to worry.
Wow, that's strange. Right after another 2-2 pitch. So we're in a rain delay. The Rockies trail 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. There are 2 outs, nobody on for Colorado. And assuming we resume, Dexter Fowler will have a 2-2 count. And you're almost guaranteed, if there's any kind of length to this delay, that it will not be Mike Pelfrey picking up the 2-2 count.
No, it'll have to go back to the bullpen for Terry Collins, and that's why I'm a little bit surprised. I know it's raining hard, and I mentioned about the lightning, but with the 2-2 count, you would like umpires a lot of times will wait to see what that batter does. If he's out, you're clean through the inning, pull the tarp then, and everybody's kind of settled. If he gets on first, then you can call it at that point.
You know, I'm right with you. I was shocked by that because, and we're looking up in the sky, unless Mike saw something behind us that we didn't see, a lightning strike. There was one earlier in the inning, but nothing happened in the few moments between pitches that would indicate, hey, we got to get off the field right now, at least by what we saw.
Well, and you don't feel like you would lose the field if you played another 2 or 3 minutes to see how that inning played out. That's the other thing. To me, if it was coming down just in buckets right now, it's raining hard, but I've seen teams and umpires play through rain where it's even harder than this.
Yeah. So the score is 4-3. The Mets leading. Again, they're 2 outs. And a 2-2 count on Dexter Fowler with nobody on base in the bottom of the 7th inning. And we're going to take you right now to Rockies All Access. And as always, we will keep you abreast of what is occurring at the stadium. But for now, we're in a rain delay. Hopefully the shower will move through and we'll get to pick up on the baseball game in a short while. 4-3 New York. We take you to Rockies All Access. have 7 outs to work with offensively.
And a different reliever coming in, Mike Pelfrey. It's been 33 minutes now, and as you mentioned, another 10 or 15 minutes to get the field ready. So that's too long for a starting pitcher to stay out there and stay ready. So it's going to come down to the bullpens now.
Yeah, and I have 10 after 9 right now, and we've just been told from downstairs in the press box that the next pitch will be thrown approximately 9:30, so about 20 minutes from now. The Rockies' offense, we've talked so much about it the last 2.5, 3 weeks, how it's sputtered and it really hasn't done a lot. Tonight we've seen the long ball. We haven't seen any hits bunched together, though.
Yeah, and it's really a feast or famine kind of night for the offense. And hopefully with the 7 outs to play with, that you can string some of those hits together and then get the long ball to get a little distance between yourself and the Mets.
Well, when we come back the next time, the field will be prepared and we'll be ready to play baseball again. Till then, we're going to take you to some more Rockies All Access. The Mets 4, the Rockies 3, 2 outs at the bottom of the 7th when we come back. to you by the Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Ask about our hometown sports package. By the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by Jack in the Box, get the new Bourbon Barbecue Steak Grilled Sandwich at participating restaurants. We have the best grounds crew in all of baseball here. Mark Rausman and his bunch. See how quickly they were working?
Fast.
I mean, they're really fast. Pulled that tarp off the field in a nanosecond. 4-3, 2 outs in the 7th inning. And the Rockies will have Matt Lidstrom throwing for them when this ball game turns to the top of the 8th inning. Jason Isringhausen, who's made a nice return to the big leagues, will be asked to not only, from Terry Collins' perspective, Jeff Houston, get the final out. Dexter Fowler, he hopes, talking about Collins, of the 7th inning, but also pitch the 8th inning.
Which is a little unusual coming back from all the injuries that Jason has had, to ask him to go and get that 4th out, get this out of this inning, and then sit for a little bit longer and then go back out there. I'm a little surprised he didn't go to somebody else out in that bullpen just to try to get maybe a Taylor Buchholz to try to get this out, bringing Jason in a clean inning to start it out. But that's the way Terry Collins decided to go with it. It makes it a little bit easier for Matt Lindstrom to knowing that, okay, at the start of the top of the 8th inning, that's my 1 inning to go out there.
Right, and he knows the 3 guys that he's going to see initially. Well, let's tell you how we got to 4-3 in the 7th inning. In the very first inning, Jose Reyes led off with a double. There was a seeing eye base hit by Murphy, and then a base hit with the bases loaded by Ike Davis to drive in 2. The Rockies got a run back. Troy Tulowitzki with his 9th home run as he went opposite field. And then Seth Smith later on in the inning would hit a home run to tie it. So it was 2-2. Jason Hamill cruising along. At one point he retired 10 in a row. And then with 2 aboard and 2 outs, he gives up a double to Mike Pelfrey of all people. First hit of the year for Pelfrey. And it was 4-2. Rockies got a run back in the 6th inning, the same way they scored all night. A solo home run. This time it's Carlos Gonzalez with his 3rd of the year over the center field wall. And then with 2 outs, Dexter Fowler at the plate on a 2-2 count. It had been raining, and Mike Winters, who's the crew chief, third base umpire tonight, said, you know what, that's enough. And he pulled everybody off the field. There was some lightning in the area. And we'll have a delay. Don't have it officially yet. It's going to be pretty close to 1 hour. And as we get ready to resume action, let's take a look at our Ecotech game summary. It's brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Mets without an error. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Rockies. They still have not produced a double-digit effort hit since April the 20th. And today is May 10th. That's amazing. And the difference in the baseball game right now, not necessarily Mike Pelfrey on the hill, Mike Pelfrey at the plate.
Yeah, and who would have thought that? He did not have a hit coming into today's ball game. Now 1 for 13 with a couple RBIs. It looks like it's going to be right at 50 minutes.
Okay.
I set my watch. It was 8:38 when they pulled everybody off the field.
I would never second guess you because
Thank
you always,
you.
I mean, you're a former coach too. You always have the stopwatch going, and so
50 minutes.
50 minutes.
That's going to be my call. Now we'll see if it's 51 or 49, but by my watch, 50 minutes.
No,
folks.
I'm going with your call.
Thank you.
I'm going with RBIs tonight. It's a 50-minute rain delay. Jason Isringhausen, who's not the same Jason Isringhausen when he was closing ball games and he was mid to upper 90s. He's more in the 88 to 91, 92 range, but he's been effective. He has 6 holds since he was called back to the big leagues.
Well, he's figured out how to cut the ball now. He does it since he's not throwing as hard as he is. It's not a 4-seamer. He'll cut it more, go with the slider, and then the occasional curveball. This guy just likes to compete, though. As many injuries as he's had, some elbows, some hips, and been out of baseball, wanted to get back in it because you just don't find that competition anywhere else.
So here we go, a 2-2 count on Dexter Fowler. This has to be an odd situation. And Dexter fouls it off his foot.
So he's sitting there for this rain delay. Dexter was in the dugout for a number of minutes because he knew that once this game started up again that he was going to be the first guy out there. Where on the Ultimo does he hit this ball?
Ooh, that
was off his back leg.
Yeah, and that's unusual, and how high it hit on his leg.
I'm not sure I've seen that before on the back leg where it hits up towards the kneecap, maybe even above the kneecap. I remember Dexter wore that shin guard for a number of games, but that was on the lead leg. One more look at that. And the reason he hits it where he does is because of that cutter that Jason throws. Ball kept cutting in, and you try to pull your hands in to hit that fair. It doesn't look too good right now.
It's the second Rocky tonight where the training staffs had to come out. He's done. Wow. Dexter's coming out of the ball game. So it gets even stranger. Dexter comes up to bat after a 50-minute delay and resumes a 2-2 count. He swings and fouls off the first pitch, can't continue. So Ryan Spilborghs will come out of the dugout, and he'll pick up with a 2-2 count. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
I haven't. My 26 years, I have not seen that where after a rain delayed first pitch, guy fouls it off. He can't finish after a new pitcher has to come in.
And now the greater concern is the well-being of your center fielder and your leadoff hitter, you know, beyond tonight. You know, okay, maybe he gets a day or two, but if it's more serious than that, the Rockies have a big issue.
And I'm trying to think back. I mean, it was a couple years ago Dexter missed some time because he fouled the ball off of his leg.
3-2 on Spilborghs.
And this is a weird at bat. I've had to come into games in the middle of an at bat for somebody. This is difficult for Ryan because he's going up there thinking, I've got to swing at this first pitch or second pitch I see.
And this is, I'll tell you what, this is really odd. I want to check with Doug in the rules because I know this much. If Isringhausen were to walk, let's go back to Fowler. If he was to walk Fowler, it would be charged to Pelfrey. If he'd strike him out, it's Isringhausen's strikeout. Now Spilborghs walks. Is it Fowler's walk or is it Spilborghs' walk? And same thing on the strikeout. And it's a walk.
We're going to have to find this one out. I think it's Spilborghs' walk.
I think it is Spilborghs' walk, but I think the punch out
it
would have been on Dexter.
Yes. Or if he gets a hit, it would have been Spilborghs' hit.
Wow. Odd stuff. Jonathan Herrera at the plate. 0 for 3 tonight. In there for a strike. And that's in there, 0-2.
Bigger curveball than Isringhausen used to have.
A lot of pitchers won't use that at altitude, especially visiting guys. And Isringhausen strikes out Herrera. So Spilborghs left at first. We'll go to the 8th inning. After a 50-minute rain delay, it's 4-3 New York. The Home Depot doing more on defense. Chris Iannetta last night in the ninth inning cuts down Willie Harris. Harris represented the tying run. I am still not sure where Willie was going. Home Depot doing more on defense. Ryan Spilborghs will take over in center field. Carlos Gonzalez remains in left field. Obviously, the option for Jim Tracy would be to put Cargo in center and Spilborghs in left. He's comfortable with Spilborghs out there in center field.
Well, Ryan started out in center field earlier this year when he gave Dexter Fowler the day off, and that's something that Ryan knew coming into this season, that he needed to be able to go out there and prove that he could play center field.
0-2 quickly on Beltran. Matt Lindstrom in the ball game now. Beltran 0 for 2 and a walk. Rockies trailing 4-3. They have just 6 hits tonight. 3 home runs, though. Unfortunately, 3 solo home runs. See ya. That was beautiful. Hard slider. Beltran looks back at Lindstrom and walks off toward the dugout.
95, 96 mile an hour fastball, 86 mile an hour slider, or 83 mile an hour slider, excuse me.
Now, Matt Lindstrom's in a really good place. He's in the midst of a 12+ inning scoreless stretch. Eight of Lindstrom's outings, as you look at Justin Turner, have been hitless outings.
It's just nice to have that option.
Strike. Absolutely. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Jason Hamill threw 116 pitches in 7 innings. Center field. And Spilborghs has it, 2 outs. Toyota postgame show to follow the outcome of this game, and that means more Toyota talk for all of you. Text Toyota followed by a space and then comments and questions to 720-720. Jason Bay, a strikeout, a couple of fly balls, 1 to center, 1 to right. And another pop-up from Bay. Helton and Herrera, and Todd's going to handle it. Great inning from Lindstrom. We've said that frequently. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning, 4-3, New York. Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, and Helton due up. Here's a McDonald's Big Mac smack. Carlos Gonzalez to center field. That is a Big Mac smack. Text McD to 720-720 and get one free Egg McMuffin or Big Mac with the purchase of any drink, valid at participating Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming McDonald's. Here's Cargo to face Isringhausen in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies trailing by a run. And a fastball at 92. He's out of the zone. And Gonzalez reaches and pops it up. Jose Reyes waiting. Boy, a lot of pop-ups. You know, Troy Tulowitzki's coming up, and this is kind of an amazing stat. Troy hit a home run earlier. He hit a home run last Friday in San Francisco against Matt Cain. He had the pop single yesterday. He's only 3 hits over the last 10 days. But do you realize that he hasn't struck out at all in that period of time?
Which is shocking when a guy is in a funk and not hitting the ball to not strike out. Because most of the time you're not seeing the ball, so you're not picking it up, and you flail at pitches that you normally wouldn't swing at.
Isringhausen faced the Mets and faced the Rockies when the Rockies were playing in New York. That's a strike, 1-1. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, 1 ball game. Nothing across. We got the final out of the 7th inning. He's got 1 out here in the 8th. 4-3 New York. 1-2.
Fans, the first 10,000 of you to the second game of the split doubleheader, the 640 game on May 24th, will receive a Hebrew National $1 hot dog coupon. Game against the Diamondbacks from the doubleheader split game from the snow out first weekend. They see you stick around long enough, a few fans leave, and you get a ball.
K-Rod is on the left. Tim Burdack is on the right.
Houston Street and Felipe Paulino up and tossing in the Rockies pen.
It was held. It's a strikeout. And I guess I'm to blame on that one.
Hadn't struck out. Down and away and elevates one. Troy's thinking that he was able to get that and foul it off. Hopefully the catcher would drop it. Didn't happen.
Four 4-3 Mets. tonight, or you already have missed some of the action, check out Double Play tomorrow at noon before the conclusion of the Rockies and Mets series. It's all the highlights and best moments in just 30 minutes. We had a fumble there with the lollipop. And I thought that was a very generous move. He was going to give it to Dad. Dad, you finish it. It was the 5-second rule.
Well, not at the ballpark.
Not at the ballpark?
No,
that doesn't apply?
That doesn't apply. At home. But hey, Tim Burdak's in the ball game, and Terry Collins wanted to go left on left, and this is the reason why. He did not want Helton to face Jason Isringhausen with 3 for 6 and a home run.
And Todd hits lefties well. You all know that. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Takes a strike. Burdak came in the ball game last night, faced one hitter. It was Carlos Gonzalez who got him to pop up. Am I imagining things, or does it seem like the Rockies hit an inordinate number of pop-ups lately?
Well, when you're not swinging the bat well, you start to drift onto that front side. You don't stay back. When you start to drift, the barrel of the bat works underneath the baseball. That's why you get all the pop-ups.
2-strike count on Todd. Well, that maneuver worked out for Terry Collins. Burdak strikes out Helton on 3 pitches. We'll go to the 9th, 4-3. On Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Rockies are going to need a 9th inning rally. They trail the Mets 4-3. We had a 50-minute rain delay in inning ago. Coming up after the ball game is always a Toyota post-game show. Tom Helmer has more.
Drew will be talking about the solo artists, the 3 solo shots by the Rockies tonight. Also bats for the Pelfrey. Mike Pelfrey helping his own cause. In fact, at this point, he has the game-winning hit with a 2 RBI double. And, of course, we'll get you down into the clubhouse and get all the post-game reaction. It's all coming up, Drew, on the Toyota post-game show.
All right, Tom, thank you. Here in the top of the 9th, we'll have Felipe Paulino on the hill for the Rockies facing Ronnie Paulino of the Mets.
Felipe took the 3 losses in his last 3 appearances, all on that last road trip. Needs to pitch better, plain and simple.
There's a first pitch slider, which we seem to do quite a bit of. The key for him, my neat pitcher, is to work ahead. He's gotten hurt when he's been behind in the count. No relation, by the way, between these 2 guys, at least that we're aware of. Two balls and a strike.
This is the first time that it's ever been a Ronnie Paulino matchup versus Felipe Paulino.
Slider, 2-2. Rockies in the bottom of the 9th inning will have Seth Smith, Chris Iannetta, Ian Stewart.
Giambi's going to take his wax someplace in that mix.
Against K-Rod. 3-2. Another deep count for Felipe Paulino.
Go to the slider since you threw the fastball inside. Work the slider away. It was a slider, but it was a bad location.
Update from San Francisco, no score between the Giants and Diamondbacks. They're in the 6th inning.
Ian Kennedy against Tim Lincecum.
Good matchup. He missed. Ball 4. And this has really plagued Felipe Paulino. The walks and then the hits behind him. Let's get an update on what's happening down on the farm for the Rockies. Look at the numbers for Rex Brothers. Left-handed reliever who's real close, folks. Power arm, 28 strikeouts in 15 innings. That's what a dominant high school pitcher, like an off-the-charts high school pitcher does. 2 strikeouts an inning.
And after the spring he had, he's just inching ever so close to pitching at this level. So those are little league numbers.
Yeah, really. Chris Nelson's having a good year. Charlie Blackmon having a good year. Willeen Rosario's got the average now over 300. Juan Nicasio has had a terrific year so far for Tulsa. He's a power arm. 47 punch-outs, just 6 walks. So Juanich continues to hit from Modesto, and the Rockies' #1, Kyle Parker, from a year ago. I believe that's his 3rd home run.
Yeah, Tim Wheeler was just named the Texas League Player of the Week this past week.
1 ball, 1 strike on Friday.
Chip Hale's going to call Pridey over now, and maybe there's a mix-up in signs. You don't see that too often, where the guy will attempt like he's going to bunt, and then the third base coach call you over unless they've taken it off.
Fouled off, 1 and 2. I would think they'll take the bunt off here because Pridey runs well.
Well, and the other thing too is you have that. You also know that you're going to have another pinch hitter following that. You know, Willie Harris. Plus Pridey hits from the left side.
Wasn't on. 2 and 2.
You can follow the Rockies with the MLB.com at Bat 11 app. It's featuring highlights and more. Text at bat to 31826.
And now it's 3 and 2. Another full count.
And also an opportunity for Terry Collins to put Paulino in motion at first to even further try to stay out of the double play. Putting the pressure on the defense, open some holes.
Paulino not going. Ground ball to head. Good pickup. There's 1 to first. Double play. I wasn't sure at first who caught it. Todd caught it. It's a 3-6-3. Paulino could have caught it as well.
Well, first it's the ability of Todd to get this ground ball. At first glance, it looked like it was going to get by. Todd sticks his glove out, makes the throw to Troy. The relay back to Todd. Oh, yeah. You should be excited.
I'll tell you what we don't talk enough about. When we talk about Helton's gloves, ability to dig balls out of the dirt. Better than any first baseman in the game. But he has one of the most accurate and strong arms of a first baseman I have ever seen. And accurate should be put in bold print. And it goes back to his days pitching at Tennessee. He was a very accomplished pitcher at Tennessee. He closed. He'd start some games. In fact, he had a 50, listen to this, a 50-plus inning stretch at Tennessee in the SEC of scoreless baseball.
And you have to have no fear as a guy over at first base when you make that throw. We've seen him come in, make bunts where you throw to third base. The catcher last night, the throw to Chris Iannetta at home plate to get the out there. those are invaluable plays during the course of a ball game, a season. If you don't turn that guy on first base, Willie Harris, maybe you get to a Jose Reyes, but now you have an opportunity to put this inning down.
1-1 on Willie Harris. Misses at 96. It's 3-1. Well, Felipe Paulino's going to have to throw more strikes. Popped up Stewart and Tulowitzki. And Stewart makes the catch in foul ground. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies need 1 to keep playing, 2 to shake hands. Smith will lead it off. Text message alerts when the Rockies do score 7 in a game. For the Rockies Taco special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. So here we go in the bottom of the 9th inning. Rockies looking for a dramatic victory. 4-3 they trail. Seth Smith, who has a home run tonight, a walk and a line drive to center field, pretty deep center field. Will be first against Francisco Rodriguez, who's converted 9 straight saves.
That's 7th best in all of baseball. 10 2/3 scoreless innings over his last 10 ball games for K-Rod.
He's an aggressive closer. He used to throw in the mid-90s with that hard breaking ball. Doesn't throw as hard as he used to. And he'll throw that curveball about 20% or so of the time. You see more changeups now.
Yeah, and what makes him difficult is the high leg kick and the motion and everything going everywhere. And then there's the ball.
Toward the hole, it is cut off by Turner. 1 out. Rockies have not had a hit since Helt singled with 1 out in the 6th inning. Chris Iannetta is at the plate. For now, Stewart is on deck. You wonder if Giambi would pinch hit for the struggling Stewart. Swung on and missed. Or if you wait one hitter and hope somebody gets on, and then the pitcher spot, and then clearly Giambi would hit there.
No, I think you've got to take Giambi and let him take a whack at Rodriguez and pinch hit for Ian Stewart. And Giambi in his career just 1 for 9, but in a better place than Ian is right now.
Outside, 1-1.
The only other options, if you do decide to wait and let Stewart hit, then you're kind of waiting and taking your chance.
One and two. NYN draws a lot of walks, and K-Rod has walked a fair amount this year, 10 and 15 in the third. But K-Rod's ahead right now, 1 and 2.
This is when he likes to throw that fastball outside. And then it sets up the slider. It's not unusual, though.
No, you don't want to give up a long ball on the pull side late in the ball game. If the guy beats you, he's got to beat you to the opposite field. That's
Rafael Betancourt's theory.
Yeah, a lot of guys will operate that way.
Main slider. That breaks down just a little bit more. The pass that Chris put on it was a good swing.
Chris feels good at the plate. 0 for 3 tonight, but he's been swinging it very well. And Tracy telling Stewart that he's going to come back and Giambi's going to hit for you.
It's a different slider. This is more of a curveball action, maybe more of a swerve. Chris starts to fire at it. Just can't pull the trigger, but it caught the zone.
So Giambi will pinch hit with 2 outs and nobody on. And of course, Jason hasn't had a ton of at-bats. He's 0 for his last 15. Big shift put on. Ball to strike.
This is a huge shift. David Wright's playing. We've seen Jose Reyes play up there. Rob Carlos Gonzalez earlier in the ball game of a hit at about the spot that David Wright, the third baseman's at.
Fouled off. It's 0-2. Mets have been awful in 1-run games this year. They're 2-8.
It's been 0-4 against the Rockies.
Two-strike count. $31,007. The original crowd. A lot of folks understandably left after the 50-minute rain delay. Rockies are 6-6, by the way, in 1-run games this year. That was their undoing last year. And Giambi gets the count to 2-2. Jose Lopez in the on-deck circle if Jason can reach. Start to look at candidates to pinch run for Giambi if he reaches. Of course, Meziga has already been used, and Rogers is on the disabled list.
And really then the only other option would be to go to Morales.
Ground ball to second. And the Mets are going to win it 4-3. Another save for K-Rod. Pelfrey gets the win. He's 3-3. Hamill, who gave up the 2-run double to Pelfrey, falls to 3-2. And the Mets have knocked off the Rockies for the first time this year. The final score again is 4-3. Now, the Rockies hit the long ball tonight, but nothing else. And their offensive issues continue. So they're 1-1 on this 8-game homestand. Time for our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, brought to you by Jimmy John's. It's Mike Pelfrey, who got a bell-tie fastball with 2 outs. And he delivered his first hit of the year. Probably be his biggest hit all year long. A 2-run double, and that stood up. The Mets win it 4-3. We invite you to stick around. The Toyota postgame show will be next. Rubber game is tomorrow. Ubaldo Jimenez will go.